Welcome back to Going Walkabout. Here we are in Spain's largest Balearic island, Mallorca, known for sandy beaches, sheltered coves, and limestone mountains. Home to awe-inspiring cathedrals and picturesque mountain villages. Come with us while we explore this magnificent island. In this video, we'll show you some of the highlights during our 7 days in Mallorca. With a population of about 900,000 people, Mallorca clocks in as one of the main tourist destinations for Spain, processing over 28 million people yearly through Palma de Mallorca Airport. The weather is a key reason the Balearic Islands attract so many tourists from Europe. Its blue skies and rainless days can be predicted with certainty. We opted for an Airbnb for our stay, as well as a rental car, which we'd need to get around the island, and there are plenty of them at the airport. Driving in from the airport gave us a hint that we were in for a sensational trip. Passing through Palma, with the cathedral on one side and the port on the other, our heads were swaying back and forth as though we were watching a tennis match. Our Airbnb was in a great area. We only needed to walk down the street to get to a grocery store, which was really handy. And then, of course, we had a wonderful view of the bay just below us. Day 1, to get our bearings, we spent exploring Palma. Palma is the capital of the Balearic Islands, which run autonomously from Spain. Our first stop was the Cathedral de Mallorca. The building of it began in the 13th century and ended in about the 1630s. Sprinkle in a bit of Gaudi during the 20th century as he redesigned the interior, and you have an architectural, jaw-dropping masterpiece. It's worth taking some time to stroll around the grounds of the cathedral. The fountains are beautiful, especially when accompanied by an excellent violinist. Walking into town, you'll see the fusion of architecture. Due to the dramatic population increases, because of tourism, many of the city's buildings were built in the 1900s and early 2000s. The narrow streets are clean and packed with beautiful stores and businesses. And the businesses are usually below, and then the homes are above. Similar to this Gaudi-like building, or Gaudi look-alike building, that has a dental clinic below and people that live above it. Absolutely gorgeous. The name Mallorca comes from the Latin phrase insula major, that means large island. And by the way, it can be spelled either way, Mallorca with a J or Mallorca with 2 L's. On to exploring more of the island. We ventured out of Palma to visit Porto Andratx. A quick drive deposits you into a village on a well-guarded bay. Andratx is indicative of what we would find all over the island. Mountains down to the ocean, ending at a beautiful bay encircled with picturesque homes. We could only imagine who the owner of this gorgeous little Jaguar was. With a license plate reading BBC, many expats from both England and Germany make places like Andratx their second or first home. It's easy to see why. Our next forage out of our humble abode took us to Port de Sóller. Again, a drive via the interior, and within about 40 minutes, we were looking at sandy beaches and happy holidaymakers. Sóller is unique as there is Porto de Sóller and a town more inland, also Sóller. The two are connected by this charming tram, which runs throughout the day. You can also take a train from Palma to Sóller, then change to the tram to get to the beach, so no need for a rental car. The beaches are immaculate. We looked for trash and didn't find any, not so much as even a scrap. The cafes vie for attention as one is prettier than the next, all supporting beautiful views of the port. At this point, we were getting good use of our rental car, and today would be no different. We planned to visit the furthest point north of the island, as well as the legendary SA CALOBRA highway. More about that later. Our first stop was Alcudia, a beach town with a large bay and an even larger British tourist community. The town supports the bicyclists with beautiful bike paths. As there are over 150,000 bicyclists that flock to Mallorca yearly for their holiday, this has been a smart move on behalf of the Balearic government. We had a quick coffee and then back on the road again so that we could travel out to the furthest point north of the island. So apparently people bike ride these places, which that sounds to me like something, a fate literally worse than death. I think I'd rather be killed than have a slow death of trying to bike ride up these hills and these curvy mountains, especially when they're so narrow. So well done for these people. Go get him, tiger. So we're trying to get to the most northern part of the island, and it's hairpin curves
all the way.
All the way. Todo la carretera. And there's bicyclists who are very brave the whole way as well. Once at the Cape, a quick hike up a twisty path, and you can view the spectacular point. I could see a tower in the distance, and of course, told Kiwi we had to go there. The trip up to the tower was a white-knuckle affair. It was worth it, though. These towers are all around the island, and were used to see those coming to possibly attack the island from the ocean, like the Barbary pirates. The Barbary pirates hailed from Tunisia, Algiers, and Morocco. Mostly Muslim, they attacked all the Mediterranean islands and ports for hundreds of years. Their main purpose was to capture slaves, of which they are said to have captured over 1.5 million. Being a slave was one of the worst stages of hell. For a man, it meant being tied to an oar and whipped daily to help power the pirates' boats. For women, it meant becoming a concubine. You can understand why so many Mediterranean areas took their battlements so seriously. The scenery is breathtaking, but no time to meander, as we wanted to drive back via the SA CALOBRA, a 10-kilometer stretch of road with 26 hairpin turns, climbing an average of 71% gradient. And of course, people apparently love to bike this. The wonderful thing about driving or biking this beautiful road is you can end up in Fornalux, often referred to as the most beautiful town in Mallorca. We dropped into the Cai Nantina for a bite and a breather from the road trip. The driver, aka Kiwi, was in need of a cold beer and some sustenance after the SA CALOBRA drive. My lamb cutlets were heavenly, and Kiwi squid was grilled to perfection. Por supuesto, we had to have dessert, almond cake for me and flan for Kiwi. Driving through the village, we could easily see why it was referred to as the most picturesque village in all of Mallorca. Our next adventure, and the last one for this video, would be a place I had been wanting to see for many years, Manacor, the home of Rafael Nadal. Nadal, the winner of 22 Grand Slams, a powerful lefty who decided to give back to his community by creating this amazing tennis and sports center on the outskirts of his birthplace, Manacor. The center was a hive of activity while we were there. Kids or adults can practice tennis, swimming, or football. I was moved by how this man's fame was able to fuel an endeavor that is bringing so much happiness, work, and fulfillment of dreams to so many. Muchas gracias, Rafa. Back into the car and a quick 30-minute drive to Puerto Cristo, another charming town. We had a stroll along the Malecon and grabbed a beer and some tapas before getting back on the road to our final destination. So we're trying to get to Artà, and we're thinking about how this countryside is so similar to England. It's just like this Spanish version of the English countryside. We're also thinking about these very narrow roads it's taking us down. So hopefully this is the right way to get to this place, but it's all feeling a little bit concerning at the moment. But
oh, stop it. It's such a baby.
I know. Well, we've seen other people on the road, so it's not like we'd have to wait long if we broke down or something. Artà is known for being one of the oldest towns in Mallorca. As you enter the area, you'll see the parish church and the pilgrimage church. Artà is known for its vibrant market at the town center. We selected some fresh parsley for dinner and turned around and hit the road again for a 2-hour drive home. Finally, back in Palma, we opted for a night in. We made chicken cutlets in olive oil and parsley, grilled mushrooms, and pan-grilled potatoes, with more parsley. With a nice glass of Spanish red, can't beat it. We highly recommend a trip to Mallorca. You won't be chasing windmills. You'll see beautiful, clean, uncrowded beaches, artwork aplenty, and gorgeous architecture. We hope you've enjoyed the trip to Mallorca as much as we did. If you're enjoying the videos, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps the channel a lot. Better yet, subscribe. We're halfway to our goal of 1,000 subscribers, and we could use your support. Next stop, Istanbul.